The French Revolution of 1789 was unavoidable. Discuss. So we are challenging minds. We are like saying today, the French Revolution of 1789 was unavoidable. It means that at whatever cost, a revolution had to rise up in a country called France. So in this kind of arrangement, we believe that the Bourbon monarchy controlled France for so many years, over 500 years. At one time they had King Louis the 14th, King Louis the 15th. But at that time of King Louis the 16th, people rose up and staged a revolution. So we are saying this was a fundamental social, political, and economic change that took place in France. It occurred in 1789 when the masses of the middle class, peasants, and disgruntled nobility rose up against the despotic Bourbon monarchy of King Louis XVI. The despotic system of government was replaced by the revolutionary and the republican systems. We believe by this time, people rose up in 1789, led by big names like Mirabeau, Lafayette, and these ones mobilized the people, which made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. I can say in France, the peasants were around 23 million. The nobles and the clergy were 2 million. But it is said the nobles and the clergy were celebrating life. The peasants were meant to cry. We believe that King Louis XVI, by the time before becoming a king, he was 15 years and married Marie Antoinette. Marie was 14 years. By the time this man became a king, he was 20 and Marie Antoinette was 19. No wonder they misused the government money. So we are saying the situation in France made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. So let us see the key issues that made the revolution unavoidable. So we are saying the autocratic nature of the Bourbon monarchy. It is said the Bourbon monarchy that controlled France for over 500 years was so autocratic. The leaders were not willing to listen. That's why by 1789, some people were telling King Louis XVI to work according to the constitution. I can tell you the constitution had last sat in France in 1614. 175 years without a parliament city. That's why by 1789, people had to rise up against the autocratic nature of the Bourbon monarchy. People were not willing to support such a monarchy. So this made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. In other words, at whatever cost it had to happen, because people realized that King Louis XVI was not willing to change. So the year 1789 was the year of a revolution. According to big writers like Dennis Richard in Illustrated Modern Europe is telling us that the year 1789 was the year of a revolution. In other words, people had to stage what? A revolution. Then, the unfair social class system. It is said, France, people are divided into classes. Nobles, clergy, and the peasants. We are saying today, the peasants were around 23 million. The nobles and the clergy were 2 million. It is said, the nobles and the clergy were celebrating life. They were meant to own big pieces of land. They were exempted from taxes, but the peasants were paying so many taxes. It is said the clergy had big pieces of land. The peasants did not have land. Moreover, they were the majority. They were paying rent to the landlords, and this was the Catholic Church. So it is said the majority peasants had to rise up against the Bourbon monarchy, because the Bourbon monarchy favored the nobles and the clergy. So we are saying today, the unfair social class system made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. In other words, at whatever cost, a revolution had to rise up. Since people realized that Louis XVI was not willing to change the situation, he was told by the peasants that you consider all people in issues of paying taxes, but only peasants were meant to pay what? Taxes. It is this situation that made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. In other words, at whatever cost it had to happen. Another one, we are saying the huge influence of the English system of governance. I can say England, or the English people, were also under a monarchy. But for them, they had a what? A constitution. So people in France were saying, how comes that people in England are under monarchy, but for them they have a what? A constitution, and for us we don't have. So it is this influence that made the French to rise up at the stage a revolution by 1789, and this made the revolution unavoidable, because the French realized that they were not going to be given constitutionalism as it was in where? In England at the time of King Louis the 16th. So they wanted to change the status quo. They wanted to change the situation. That's why they staged a revolution. They were led by big fighters like Lafayette, a man who fought in the American War of Independence. By the way, when they went in the American War of Independence, Louis XVI made a strategic mistake. When he sent these people there, they realized that the people they were helping, they were even far better than them. When Lafayette came back in France, he convinced the people that we needed to rise up and stage a what? A revolution. And this made the revolution unavoidable. Then, the influence of the political philosophers. Philosophers, these ones were eye-openers to the situation. In other words, philosophers like Voltaire, Jinja, Montesquieu wrote ideas concerning about change. Talk about men like Jinja. He wrote and said, men are born free, but everywhere they're in chains. In other words, when men are born, they are free, but everywhere they are in what? In chains. They wanted a decrease in the price of bread. They wanted to tell the king. They found there Marie Antoinette. Marie told them, if bread is expensive, try cakes. By this time, the situation was not good. It is said they wanted land. The situation was not good. The Catholic Church, men full of religion, were having big pieces of land and were mistreating the what? The peasants. So we are saying the philosophers opened the people's what? People's minds. Talk about Voltaire, a restless writer. He could write even in times of sleep. He was the most famous, Voltaire. He wrote ideas concerning about change. Let me tell you, by the time the revolution took place, these philosophers were already dead. But their writings impacted the masses, and the masses staged a what? A revolution. It is this that made the French Revolution of 1789 unavoidable. Then the weakness in the character of King Louis the 16th. It is said Louis the 16th was a very weak leader in issues concerning about character. He was easily influenced by a woman called Marie Antoinette. It is said Marie Antoinette used 18 hours out of 24 hours beautifying herself. Moreover, she was already beautiful. But every time we couldn't mind. But she was using government what? Money. It is said Marie Antoinette had 500 maids. These ones were workers working at her home. We couldn't mind. But she was using government what? Money. Mahajan, one of the lead writers in his book Modern European History, is telling us that every tooth of Marie had a worker responsible for that tooth. I can tell you, celebration of life. It is this that annoyed the masses. Philosophers opened the people's what? Minds. Some people could not see this. There's a difference